Victoria.
Well, tomorrow marks World Hearing Day, and it's meant to recognize the achievements and challenges of people with impaired hearing. But in an effort to help people with hearing loss, the University of the Western Cape has been developing an app called SignSupport. And to tell us about how it works, we are joined in studio by Hugo Vaughan and Jared Christians. Guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Good evening.
SignSupport, I love it. We've got two stories of innovation today of apps that are doing great work. Tell us about SignSupport.
SignSupport is a collective that's been running at UWC looking at how technology can help deaf people. In the last 2 years, we've moved that now to apps for working on smartphones. And really, the important thing here is that a smartphone has the inherent capacity to send a video message. And that, of course, is if you're a sign-speaking person, that is how you communicate with your friends.
Yeah.
So the idea is to take the way the deaf people are currently using to talk with their friends and make that part of a wider service-facing thing.
Yeah.
So municipalities, corporates, etc., should be able to interact with deaf people in the same way as they currently do in contact centres.
Well, Jared, tell me, I mean, here you are, a young student at UWC. Tell me about the role that you played.
Well, our initial role was to get information from the users and find out what they need in society and try and develop a product that meets those solutions.
Yeah. What I find quite interesting in some of the information that you share with us is that people don't realize this. 10% of the South African population is deaf or have some kind of hearing impairment. And what you hear quite often from people that are deaf is that they feel excluded from society because of that lack of communication. Having used the app and having set it up, have you seen a lot more communication between the hearing and the deaf?
Jared, do you want to answer?
Yeah, so there's definitely excitement about it. It's still in the pilot phase. One of our support communities in ID are running out the pilot, and definitely a lot of excitement about it. And we're hoping to get more feedback from them to develop it further.
Yeah. Well, what's necessary then to get it off the ground? But more importantly, to also see it accessible in other parts of the country as well.
Well, the app is very simply, it is WhatsApp for the user.
Yeah.
So if you have WhatsApp in your phone, which all of us do, you can then get through to the contact center. You know, it's like you use a normal phone to get through to a normal contact center, you use WhatsApp to get through to this contact center. So there's no additional things required for the contact center side of it. We are, however, building apps for content. For instance, we've got a diabetes content set, and we're also building an emergency request. Now, the emergency request app simply creates a much more complex message than you or I will be able to type up quickly. You know, where are you, all sorts of good things, and piles that all into WhatsApp and sends that through to the contact center.
Yeah.
So we're very heavily dependent on WhatsApp, but everyone has WhatsApp. And what's fascinating is within the deaf community, that's the sign language community, adoption of smartphones is actually much higher than in the normal population because, of course, they have no need for a normal phone. So smartphones are the way to go.
Yeah, it's fascinating because so if we actually dig into the app a little bit more, right, all the services that it offers, because it sounds like a one-stop shop for the deaf community that you've set up here.
At a certain level, the WhatsApp thing is a one-stop shop. It's a way of communicating. What we find, though, in the more sophisticated apps like the emergency app and the diabetes app, we actually have to trim it down to really focus on cover something really well. So the WhatsApp one is exactly that. It is the one-stop shop where everything else doesn't cover. But then we also have these apps we're in the process of building out, which are very, very specific, such as diabetes and emergency services.
Yeah. Impressive, really, really impressive. I mean, the goal that you want to set up here and the sort of example that you'd like to set as well, Jared?
Can I ask that again, please?
Yeah, the goal that you've set for yourself and really what you want to see SignSupport achieve in the future.
Just include more deaf people in the community. The deaf people that we've interviewed and communicated with, just going to the doctor or going to a public place, it's very difficult to communicate.
Yeah.
So allowing them to access these facilities that most of the population can.
Yeah. Can South Africans access the app as yet? While it is in its pilot phase, to help you test and get some of those results and know what's working and what isn't?
I would say not just yet. Because the biggest thing about a contact center is you have to have people able to take the call.
Right.
So we've got to build out those skills. We've got to build out what it means to be answering messages, not incoming calls, and all of those things. So we've got to build the capacity within the organization before we can accept the calls from the requests for assistance from outside.
Well, listen, as soon as you're live, come back. Let's make as much noise about this as possible so people know exactly the work that you're doing. And congratulations, bringing South Africans closer. Really good work.
Thanks. We try.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. That's Hugo Vaughan and Jared Christians in studio with us. There, you're watching eTV News and Sport.